Hello, I just bombarded you with a lot of theory and also some promises that you can recognize frequencies in letters and that you can give a meaning to that. But the last part wasn't really so easy, but it sounds more complicated than it is because you can also derive it into really one moment that you notice the difference, that you can realize the difference, that you learn the differences between all the letters a bit more quickly, and I will give very specific examples in this video, especially with an example with the letter V and the letter R, how you can recognize them into this last category and what it does actually, and what these three categories does, and how quickly we can recognize actually also by sound where we should use these letters for. And I already told you there are three regions, the one in space, the one in the timing, so where you go and time your ideas, or the 1, 2, 3 context. And that was the most difficult one. How shall we proceed with that idea, this time space, where we find the definition, and then thanks to that we know the definition, we also know when and where the things should be. That sounds quite difficult as a theory, but in practice it's quite okay that we can realize it a bit more quickly like it is. You can use it also more intuitively to go to where you need to go. And I will explain that in this video. Of course, it's about speech and hearing then is in this case. And the three categories of notification, of realization, and of interpretation are also about frequencies. And the basic frequencies, they can be compared, the first 9 letters can be compared a little bit like we focus upon space. We have a speech, and you have a reflection on space, and you have these click sounds, monotone sounds, all kind of sounds. We hear them and they reflect back, and they reflect in that so well back to what we expect there to be, that we can focus very clearly upon the point, which is a point in space, which is a point of reference, which is an objective point, and they're all associated with space. And that's one category. You can use it quite quickly, and everybody agrees, I think to agree, that we have a common object. We all name the object and we have the object. So there is not much confusion possible at first sight. It is not much going on there in conflictual situations. No, it's just about naming things. Next thing is, we could name certain things, but they are changing, or we have a somewhat different opinion. So we have to agree. I speak, you hear, and I tell you it has to go a little bit in a different direction. So there is already some feedback. And what we do when these sounds that fit to that of the second category are spoken? We hear that the body of language, the body of sounds, they move a little bit to right, to left. So they are shaping and reshaping itself a little bit. And as long as we can follow, it's going that direction, this is just about following the directions. The top frequencies, the sharp frequencies, the vibrating frequencies, the resonating frequencies, they are much higher. They are above 3 megahertz most of the time. And they are about reflections, and there we need a lot of reflection. Here it is really about, we have a different opinion. So where can we meet actually each other? Because actually there's a part that we do not know, that we cannot say, that cannot be expressed, that cannot be seen, cannot be heard. Where is it reflecting to? So we try to localize, the best place in space and time that all these reflections come together. But first, the recognition. So let's have a word. Let's hear a word in 4 letters and see how we quickly recognize letters and what we're going to do with it. The basic letters, first 9 letters, they can all be derived actually to one point, just like we have, let's have 4 letters from that first category. So they are really regular points, and every letter is distinctive, so we have distinctive letters, and we can use each one of them, and they don't have much of an interference. It's like clicks and localizations or continuations. These are the first category. They can be derived to that point. And even so, you have this global circle here, which is space, and they all around that centered position of focus. There are some variations, so sometimes you have it's a bit higher, and it's even going away a little bit, like in the K. So you have the diagonal, you have the vertical, and there are some variations, and they are still describable as from the idea that no, we can still focus upon it, and we can describe it as if it's a physical object. As soon as some movement is involved or changes are involved, we express them differently, and we hear also these moves. And these moves, you can derive them as an arrow inside. We can make a design of it if you want, we can symbolize it. But the moves makes us come into that second category. Oh, with the realization, just listen, something is moving to somewhere else. A very good example is, for instance, as the first letter of the movement, the D. The D is almost like it pushes it. It almost pushes the air forward. Not much air, but it pushes our bubble of understanding further, and it moves the attention. Oh, maybe it's going somewhere else. Maybe there are some changes going on. It's just a trigger point. That's that D. It's a trigger point, there's more going on, so this might be an object of change as well. With already you have this of the you have that already in the middle point, and that really says, okay, I have here within everything that changes, I have these highlights, so I can still take things out, just like as an object you have points where you can take things out. In the you have a whole range of timing, and in between you say, okay, I have this timing fixed. I can understand it. There's a certain range, like with the A, but I have also my object of focus in a timing context. That's the A. The last category, and that was the most difficult one to have examples with, so I will give you examples as well. There you have the frame. Actually, you have a little bit, the frame is almost outside the letters. It's going to look into the full word again. Why is that? Because it's about vibrations, and these vibrations, where do they vibrate? They vibrate into the whole word, and they make some kind of reaction, or they demand some kind of reaction from us, and we deal with it. And that's more like the kind of attention that is requested. There's a resonance requested, there's a feedback requested. It's almost like an attention, so not like from, oh, I have here an object, or oh no, you have to move to somewhere. No, it's more the kind of attention that says, watch out, that it is vibrating in a certain way, it's behaving in a certain way. How can we grasp it in that way? So we take a little bit of distance from the individual places, from the movements and so on, and so we become much more conscious or aware of what word we are expressing. We go away from the physical certainties, from the standard certainties of directions as well, and see, okay, how shall we behave? And it's different all the time. It all depends on what we have already in the word. We'll give examples later. So you have, for instance, with the V in the beginning, you already know, you are triggered, there will be some redistribution going on. So that means it's not just moving, like in the D or in all the movements of the second category. No, it will be, you have to deal with the movement, which direction. At this point, it's not known, but it gives you this trigger point. Okay, in this word, pay attention, something will move and find its place in time and space. That's what it is. The first attention in the points is the point in space. The second attention of directions are the directions in time. And this attention is more like, oh, let's reorientate everything and find its right time and space continuum as well, because you can adapt it according to the situation, and it's always somewhere else every time. But there's a formula. So what will be the formula that will work so that I can find the time and place from this moment? V in the middle of the word will in that way be about redistribution of material in general. It's parting from space, from your objective, and the objectives will change a little bit. The rules will adapt to what is needed, so that the things that you know, that you understand, that you have, will be redistributed. That's the kind of idea. A very good idea how this redistribution works, and how the V works, and how this adaptive system works of action and reaction, so that you really do not have one moment that says, okay, here it's always like that. No, you have to adapt to the situation, and it has a feedback. The what you put in it will also be has a counterpart, or what you get from it. And a very good expression of this whole thing with V is this meter, the speed meter actually, because also there you have a redistribution of the whole energy, where you have an action reaction of the more energy you put in it, the more speed you will have, and the meter will show you how much it will produce actually. And you cannot say, okay, I am here at that moment in time and place, but the speed will tell you where exactly you are. If you follow the speed, you will also know all these things that come forth from it, how far you can go, how quick you will go, and so on. It's always different, but the idea of speed will be the same. It's always the sounds is sensitive on intonation and feedback, and the more you put in it, the further you are. So it is a fixed value, like the V is. Value is fixed, but the numbers of the value are not fixed. And if you look it up into my system, the V is going up from the physical plane, and you can see it here. Okay, it starts from a center. Do we have the ups here? In a way, yes, it is. It's like you have all these speeds where you say, okay, here's the one which matters. When you are in that kind of speed, you are 100 miles an hour or kilometers every hour. So I have it, and there is the way up. All these meter numbers here. Actually, the things that you can take out, so the vertical parts are matching. It's just designed in a circle, so don't let it confuse you. So there are this dependent state of results according to input versus feedback. You produce something, and something is redistributed as an effect, and that is the expression of the V as well, and that's a bit already closer to where the V is associated, how it is associated, and also why it is associated from a distance from the full picture, because it's never at a fixed place or a fixed timing, but it all depends. It's redistributed as in that way. So if you have that word V in a sentence, depending on what balance there is, yeah, okay, it will be. There can be a measurement, a value taken out. We will give examples later, but first I had to give this example of an image that will help you. So what it will also help is that you have this 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I always told you the 1, 2, 3 focus. Now in space, it's actually the 1, 2, 3 into one focus. So actually 1 point from one focus, or 2 points from one focus, or 3 points from one focus. It's always about one focus, and depending on how complex you watch it, you can see it in that way. Same in the timing, it's just one focus, one direction of actually also a 2-dimensional frame of directions, 2 of 2 or 3 of 2 there as well. In the last category, the same thing, it's 1 out of 3. So to measure also these variations with the V, variations, you come to 1 point, and there you have it already. In that 1 point you can take it out, but you can only measure it well by having the concept of 1 out of 3. The measurements of the variables can only be defined between the 3 values. 3 values that has to be defined, and thanks that we know the formula and the borders from where we measure it, we have a minimum and a maximum, and in between that, thanks to the formula, we come to the position at that point in time and space, and that's basically all the letters do that in that way between these zones. The first 3 letters, you have the value in 1 point already. The other one only after you have 2 structures, and sorry, I was distracted. 2 out of 3 means that after 2 not structure, 2 frames, you can measure actually like a rhythm. So you have a rhythm, you can see in a rhythm, you cannot see into 1 frame. You have to have at least 2 frames, and then you already see how the rhythm evolves, like in the R, for instance, or the frame itself in H, for instance, that you can see. Okay, here in between this zone, there is this place where I can define something as well. And the last one, you really need the three values to measure the point of reference best. But that's also again theory. Let's focus upon the V and the R in this case. With the V, of course, I said it is up because it's on a circle. Of course, it will be measured onto the circle. But basically, it is about here's the value that is up at this point in time and space, and it will be, in general, the most values will be redistributed then between the 0 and infinity. The R, another example, that's also about rearrangement of the full word. So when you hear the R, it's like vibrations, and these vibrations gives you a trigger point. Oh, there is a vibration going on in this word. It's almost like you say you have a vast object, you have a into it. Okay, so the full object will vibrate. You have an idea. Oh yes, I have to rearrange my idea of fixed point, and this fixed point is behaving itself according to the vibrations, the rhythm, and so on, all with an R, of course. As you can see here, you will find its rhythm of progress in R, and that's your attention. So don't overthink it. That's your attention. Your attention is, oh, okay, there's a vibration. I have it here. Or if is there, okay, I have some time here before the expressions can be fulfilled, need to be fulfilled, and so on. It all gives you these signals, and of course the intonation, the length, the power that you put in it. It all gives you an influence, again, on your attention. So compared to the three kinds of letters, the first 9 letters are associated with steady points because they are also clicks, and you think, okay, it's there, no questions, it's there, and there's no problem. When there's direction, okay, then the full body of all the vibration, they move a little bit they vary a little bit. So as long as you can see the direction, that's also another signal. The last one is there's so much resonances and feedback that goes all over the word, and then as well, it more have the idea of, oh, there's something that needs to be rearranged. And that's how we're going to see the words that have now the V and the R. The V will be a rearrangement and as well, but a rearrangement of a place as well, because it's a place of a placement of something that I can associate from space. So that I have an association somewhere from space, or also a certain value. Measurement of objects, of material and so on, so that I can find its place and redistribute its position. That's all possible. The R, I will come to that. So we have always the frame of the full word. Also, we take a distance and I have the full frame. We hear now something, we speak and we hear something, and we will hear it and notice it. Take a distance, as if we're going back to the word and say, what's the balance in the full word actually, really? An example, I don't know if I will have the perfect examples, but I will make 3 words: river, rover, and VOOR. The last 2 are Dutch words, and I'll explain them soon. River is an English word, so we have them. Try to have them into one focus. Of course, it's just one word, but it consists of some variations, of which the R, the V, and the R, actually all the letters that are consonants, are from the 3rd category. So we're really talking about something that is measured with borders that are not defined. So it's crossing the borders, like the river is. It's crossing the borders, but we have some references as letters so that we can still realize what it is. If you have the frequencies and you deal with my scheme, you have the R, the E, the V, the E, the R. It's all on top. It's all about the associations of let's find the organization, how this organization in general is going on. Only the is about the timing. All the rest is about, I try to find my context here from a distance. What is really going on here? It's all without a proper border, so it's all within that frame. I can define what I'm seeing there. So it's all there. So it's all at that point. It's about it's a little bit. So it's about the general rules. The 3rd thing, more than about an object. It's not about an object. It's not about movement itself, although is involved or is movement involved. But this is about really the global focus. I have a more global focus, and if I have some helping tools a little bit, the R is about making connections from frame, from the beginning to the ending of the frame. So and it starts from R to R. So I have a connection which are designed here just to help you from start to finish. So I have somewhere connection points in which something will come in and something will be physically inserted as the V, and the E is that highlighting time moment. But the E can only be understood also within the 3 zone. So it's you have it inserted. You do the insertion where you can have the variation. The variations are the V, which says I redistribute one option out of the. I redistribute the material, the space. I redistribute the space, and it takes the time. And the R itself is also that vibration. So the vibration is I'm looking into that vibration, what's going on in there, and there is space, physical space, which is redistributed over time. That is indeed what is within these vibrations going on in the river. More or less a description, because of the R's, it gives you the signal of, oh yeah, I'm dealing with these things. I'm dealing with R, with vibrations. I'm dealing with V, with variations of redistribution. I'm dealing with that. E, I'm going to look in, and the E, I'm hardly listen to it. It also says, yeah, but time is involved. Just remember, it's timing involved, and you can have it at a certain moment. You'll realize what it is. Rover. Okay, you have the car, the rover as well, of course, but rover is a Dutch word which is, I cannot say robber, because it's more like the full activity of a robber who is aware and is having this awareness the whole time. It's his profession, so he has a certain attention to deal with things in such a way that it will try to to get the material from someone else. Actually, that's more or less what it is. So we also have R, from R to R, so we have connections. Try to connect all these things together. You have the V redistribution, the highlighting moment where you say, okay, here the thing is happening, but the activity is led by O. O is the beginning of something of a focus of what I want to change, of something I would like to see differently. That focus that you have there is a focus into the environment. So you connect to the environment, that I want to do something there, and there I will make a connection. The aria can also have it in two parts. I always like, so I want to make a connection. I want to make a connection, and I will make the connection there. What is that connection? The V is the middle part, says it's about redistributing the energy that I put in and the material that I put in, so that I can find the place and timing of need in this case, because I'm going towards it and I want it, and I take it out and I see that it can be redistributed. Find a new location in time and space that I want. Of course, it is about it's quite forced, actually. You cannot see that forced idea, but it's going to the environment where I do. Not 100% clear, but it will become more clear if I put also the positions of the persons in there. So the person who is engaged with O in the environment pushes itself towards the other and will be able to take out something, and that's the connection that it will make, and an association it will make. That's how the word is built up. It brings you closer to why the word is built up with these letters. It was not the easiest word, and maybe I can do that better some other time. But the last word is VOOR, and it has two completely different meanings. VOOR, like for, so for someone, for a purpose. It's almost the same, exactly the same meaning as for. But it also means groove. It's a certain groove in the ground to plant something in. So you make a groove. A voor is really for the farmer in the land where he says, okay, here I can plant something in. I need that first, and I will have to produce it first. That's the voor. Strange enough, it's completely two different meanings, but they will fit to the focus of the letters. And you can immediately recognize the categories. So the V is that, basically it's that contextual, materialistic redistribution. Could also be a spatial redistribution, because it's going from space, but it's usually also associated on the second degree, always in also what develops in space. So basically the material, what is developing there, whatever is developing there. It can be it could be ideas that you have from there, opinions that you have from there, but it's into the physical realm. The O is then, it's about, that's the second, from the second category. It's about timing. It's the starting point of a timing, for, in general, for where you want to distribute something. So the planning in time. So you plan these things in time. The R is that reorganization. You can have the there in most of the last letters. It's a reorganization, again from a distance, where I want to have it all reorganized. So, of course, you have this context-based and the timing. So these two categories are included. So it's about these things. So we have a context and we have a timing. Where do we start? In the first letter, of course, we start to go and plan it. V to O, we have a starting plan. We have a starting plan for redistribution. Basically, I can express it like that. I have the redistribution, so I have that idea that I want to redistribute it, something. That's my first idea of V. The O will then go to that plan of redistribution and distributes it in time towards the goal somewhere else into the environment, to actually also the end goal in timing. So, but it starts a timing, so that's more the focus on I will start a timing for that redistribution. And on the R will connect these points, so it also connects these ideas from let's find out space and time, so that I can have the right time, a right space for this planning of VOOR, of redistribution, so that I can plan it and do it somewhere. I will act for it somewhere. So what so I have these two stages. Where's the time? What time shall I do this? What space shall I use it? It's all there until I find the right time and space, yes, to redistribute it. So I refocus the material, give it a different environment, make a new connection, and I have it. Basically, that's what the groove in the ground is how it is produced. You need some time for it. You empty it, you redistribute the material, and you give the middle a new connection, a new purpose as well. So you give that a purpose by R. There are your connections. There are your connection points after redistributing the material. It's ready and it's available there. VOOR means for, and it's also like, you have here the readiness of that place of where you have something available, place and time where you have something available, to place something and to time something, to put the seeds there. And of course the focus is into that, looking for the right time and place to do so, so that I can have that focus for redistribution all at the right time and place. That's basically how we can understand the word with the V and the R. A displacement of material for reconnection purposes into also with the O into these environments with the O, but I focus onto the large O. I focus onto where what is involved, where I can have the timing planned as well, and I can focus mainly on that connecting point there via R in the middle. So basically, these were a few examples that you can recognize the letters from the last category compared to the first and to the second category, and deal with it a little bit differently than the other letters. And these were already more complex ideas and letters. And if you understood this, great, then you had also the largest complexity of these letters assimilated. Thanks again for watching. Bye.